Hello, good night. Um, it's been a wonderful day. Hope that you're having a wonderful day today. We are back with you again, wanting to share some concepts from a new book that we're introducing tonight that is called Positive Psychology. Really excited about this opportunity to share some concepts out of this. We're going to be getting going very quickly. Wait about 2 more minutes and give a few people a chance to sign on. And once they sign on with us, we'll go ahead and get started. We're just excited about the opportunity just to be able to share. Just once again, I've chosen to, on a path, on a journey to attempt to read 52 books this year. My goal is to read a book a week. Uh, Enjoying the journey so far, and I appreciate you for tuning in and sharing some of this journey with me. My goal is to share some concepts from each book each week. This particular week, we're reading the book that's entitled Positive Psychology. As we share these books, we will share them from a biblical uh, worldview, and so some concepts out of the book, but also looking at it through the eyes of a biblical worldview. We're excited about that opportunity. Um, I'm just really excited about that opportunity. I see you there, Cecil. It's good to hear from you, brother. I hadn't seen you in a while. But we are really excited about what God is doing and the opportunity He's given us. I'm going to go ahead and get started here and just go ahead and share. It'll be about 10 minutes on every night around 9 o'clock, just sharing 10 minutes of some concepts and from the books that we are pursuing. So let's go ahead and get started. Uh, hey Nolan, happy birthday to you. So excited about this opportunity. So within this book, Positive Psychology is a book written by Bridget Greenville Cleve, and her desire in this particular book is really to help you overcome unhappiness and to also build better relationships and to develop real-time resilience and to also discover your strengths. I'm enjoying the reading thus far, about halfway through it, but I'm going to share just a few concepts from the first few chapters in this particular book. Chapter 1 is entitled What is Happiness? Man, it's a real practical book, really right down to earth. But she opens the book talking about what is happiness and talks about some of the concepts of what it means to be happy. Um, it's interesting as she get into the introduction, she approaches happiness from the understanding of two concepts. The first one is some people are happy based on their sensual pleasure, their ability to just things that make them feel good, activity that make them feel good. They base their happiness on that. That's part of it. And the other concept, the other approach is some people lean toward happiness from the concept of having an understanding or meaning of life, purpose or meaning of life. I think it's important to try to find balance in both. I think having all of one and none of the other can be challenging in its own way. But I think in the essence of just being what happiness really means is being able to have a reason, a purpose, understanding of who you are, why God has created you, and sort of your contribution to the world. But also understanding that there are things that we need, we desire, and that we want. And when those needs are being met, I think that it contributes to our happiness. Of course, if your happiness is based on things, then the things are taken away and you have nothing to stand on. So I think it's important, number one, that you know your purpose, understand who God has created you to be, and understand what is your contribution to the world. I think everybody has a purpose, everybody has a desire to give something back. So understanding that I think is important. But being able to balance those two concepts, I think, are like critically important. And so as we approach life, it's good to know who we are and also have goals of things we want to achieve. I think both goals are understood that God has no problem with us having things. He just don't want the things to have us. And so when we can approach life from that perspective, I think it helps us balance the concept of being happy. So when the author talks about being happy, they use the term a lot through the book called well-being, having just just a positive mindset. Well-being meaning that there's a certain components, things that make that up. We'll share some things about that define what that is as well a little bit later on. But within the book, I've enjoyed reading so far. There's some things she talks about, I think, that were very important. She said there are certain barriers that come and confront your well-being, barriers that you have to kind of get over. There were 5 of them that she listed I thought were good. Number 1 was the negative bias, a barrier that hinders you or makes it more difficult for you to have well-being is a negative bias. A negative bias is basically when you give all of your attention or too much of your attention to the thing that's negative in your life. And when you have that, it's very difficult. People that are negative are not, they're not very well off. They're challenged. Their life is not really balanced, and oftentimes they're unstable when it comes to being happy and just understanding who they are. Barrier number 2 was the duration neglect. Which I thought was interesting. How she proposed that was that's when it's not so much that one thing makes me upsets me a lot, but it's more so when one thing we weigh very heavily on the end result. So it can be something that didn't last for but only 30 seconds, but it made me so upset that I don't even approach the concept of what happened to me as my all day. So we judge our whole day based on one event or one activity. The third barrier is the social comparison, when we're trying to keep up with somebody else and trying to buy materialistically or whatever and we base our happiness on that. That can be a barrier as well. And then of course the fourth one is that concept that where even you base your happiness on being able to feel good. That's that emotional, sensual feeling, buying things. But it becomes a treadmill. So not understanding that that's going to wear off. So you can't just keep shopping because it makes you feel good, because eventually you run out of money. And then a fifth one is, of course, lack of self-control. So she goes on and says, Proverbs 17 and 22 says that a joyful heart is good medicine. I like the way the Message Bible reads it. It says that a cheerful disposition is good for your health. And gloom and doom leave you bone tired. So the concept is that with positive emotions now, it's good to have positive emotions. It's good to understand what positive, chapter 2 deals with positive emotions. And they speak of the experience, there's an experience that positive emotion creates. That allows you to tap into additional resources. In other words, when I feel good, it's like I'm more creative. When I feel good, I'm more active. When I feel good, I have greater ideas, better ideas. And so being able to understand how to work positive emotion and make it work to your favor is important, because when I have that working for me, it gives me additional resources and it helps me tap into my intellect, which is where I solve problems. When I have positive emotions, it also helps me tap into. I have better physical strength, the physical component of that. When I feel good, it's like I just have an internal health or physical strength that's kind of vibrant when I have positive emotions. And then there's social quality, when I have quality and quantity of relationships. I have the proper amount of relationships, but they have the right context to them. And so positive emotion helps you advance or enhance those areas of your life. The other concept is that when I have positive emotion, I'm in a position now where I'm more resilient and I'm not as challenged as I normally would be. I'm able to bounce back from things when I have positive emotion. So something can go wrong, but I can bounce back from it better and quicker and more stable. So there are really So positive emotion comes from you being able to feel good about yourself. When you feel good about yourself, you have positive emotion. So there are three things she says that you could do in the book that would help you feel better about yourself. One of them was, I thought was interesting, real simple things, but I think very useful and helpful. She said, if you're struggling with feeling good about yourself, you can just call a friend, somebody that you can really depend on that will help you look at the brighter side of things. Another one is you can create sort of a folder on your phone or your computer with favorite photos. You look at pictures, images helps us, creates positive emotions for us. So images, and oftentimes how you see yourself is really determined how you feel. In those areas, we all, no matter how mature you may be, or how spiritual you may be, or how deep you may be, there are times when we struggle, I think, with projecting the right image about who we are. And I like to say it this way: it's important that you accept how God sees you, even over how you may feel about yourself, because God doesn't always see you in the proper context of who you are. So you want to also, you can look at, you can boost your emotions, positive emotions, by treating yourself, self-care. My wife talks about it a lot. Self-care is an important thing. You got to be able to take care of yourself, do things that makes you feel good about yourself. And so the author goes on and says that doing good does you good. So doing good does you good. And so you want to think about those things. So if I need to feel good about myself, sometimes I can heighten that or enhance that by doing something for somebody else. I help somebody else. I pay for somebody else's breakfast, or I let another person, if I'm driving down the road and somebody's wanting to let them get in front of you versus trying to cut them off, those things, or sometimes giving up your seat, because the benefit of positive emotions is that these are good benefits. You live longer, and it also says that when you feel good about yourself, positive emotions, you live longer. Number two is that you earn higher pay. They say you can increase your pay just by feeling good about yourself consistently. You make more money. You develop better relationships. You develop not only better relationships, but you also develop better mental and health state. Your state of health, your mental state is better. And then of course your creativity it improves. And then your performance now will improve, and eventually you will make efficient decisions. You'll be more efficient at your decision making when you feel good about yourself. And so in the book, two more things, and we'll close out. But in the book, she also talks about the importance of having a positive ratio, meaning that the positivity ratio. I mean, you have 3 to 1, 3 things positive to 1 negative. That's sort of the starting place to get you going in the right direction. You'll find out later on though, but she says 5 to 1 is for those that are really, kind of moving progressively in the right direction. And so the basic concept is that the more positive you inject in your life, then the better off you're going to be at the end of the day. So there are things that you can do to increase that as well, and so you want to understand that. The last thing I want to talk about is the engagement or the flow that she talks about in chapter 4. She says there's a concept called a flow, a state of optimal experience. Being in the zone is what athletes would call it, and she says how to get more flow in your life. She uses the SMART goal. That's an acronym, SMART. The S stands for being specific. M is for measurable. A is for achievable. The R is realistic, and the T is time-based. It's time-bound. So in other words, when you set goals, you want all of your goals in your life to be specific, number 1. Number 2, you want it to be measurable. Number 3, you want it to be achievable. And number 4, you want it to be realistic. And then of course, number 5, you want it to be time sensitive, so that it's a goal, but it's not just a goal hanging, it's a target date, target achievement date. And when you do that, you put yourself in a position now that's called making smart goals, and it creates a greater sense of flow in you, puts you more in the zone. Those are some concepts out of the book. So my encouragement to you is that as a man thinketh, so is he. The Bible says it very clearly that how you think, you become a byproduct of the way you think. And so thinking is always going to be a major part into the positivity in your life, because don't allow your environments and your situations to define who you are. You have to define who you are, develop who you are by thinking and developing plans and making goals. And of course, you want those goals to be SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time sensitive. That's all I got to share with you tonight. I hope that you have a wonderful night. Hope that you sleep well, rest well, and get up and excited about what God has in store for you on tomorrow. God bless.